Hello, happy time zone, guys. Hello, Alex. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. This is different. So, for those of you guys who don't know, we normally do this like on a Sunday morning. So, normally I like get out of bed, I have my coffee, I get ready, and then we get on here and we like talk for Sunday morning. And today we're doing it a little bit different while we're recording. This is a Saturday at like 4 o'clock, like Central Time. And so I spent all my morning watching. I'll tell you guys about how we've been watching documentaries the past 2 days. So we finished the one that we were watching, and then I was so tired because my dog decided to wake us all up. I say early, it really wasn't that early. It was like 9 o'clock. But after going to bed at like 1, that seems really early. And so we watched that, and then like 1:30 rolled around, and I was like, I want a nap. And I took a nap and then like got up and I was like, shit, I gotta start getting ready. So I was like rolling around in bed, like, okay, I gotta get up. I need to do something with myself. I gotta make sure everything's prepped and ready to go. So I'm still like, I feel like I'm still like waking up at this
Oh
point, but
no. What
it's
documentaries are you watching?
so we watched. I had the podcast that I listened to, they also talk a lot about like media. So they
Mm,
were talking about a few, and so we ended up watching. I originally was going for, it's called Perfect Wife, and it's about this girl who goes on a run and goes missing.
mm.
But we ended up not doing that one because the reviews were a little iffy. But then we did, shit. I'll have to look it up and link it or something. But it's American Nightmare, I think is what it might be called. It's on Netflix, American Nightmare, and it was wild. I don't like anything that I can do like scary-ish. It's not my favorite thing, but like if we're gonna
Sure.
watch something like that, it can't be about home invasion. My worst nightmare is somebody being in my house,
Oh my
and
gosh.
this
Have you ever had
was
someone try to break into your house before?
no. Have you?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Stop! Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it was like so I used to live actually when I was living in Halifax and well technically Dartmouth. I lived in like several really sketchy apartments and then one really nice one like out in the burbs, 45 minutes outside of Halifax. And it was around the time that we met actually, I because that was like the apartment that I started streaming in,
Uh huh.
and it was like Christmas vacation, and I was up till like 2 in the morning playing Breath of the Wild as I do, and I heard rattling at my door, and I was in like a basement apartment in
Uh
like the
huh.
suburbs, and there was a guy like I because I went out into my kitchen and there's a guy there just with like a hood up, like trying to open up my door, and he started like banging on the door, and I had to
Oh.
like call my landlord who lives upstairs. I'm like, there's someone trying to break in. It's like,
Oh my god.
and
Just
basically
thinking about that.
it was a drunk guy who went to like a holiday party, and he mistaked which house it was.
Okay, that's a
But
little bit better, but either way, it's still very scary in the moment because you
yeah, I
don't
didn't know
know
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it was
nope.
traumatizing.
Never had anybody do anything like that. Like, had some like weird situations around our house, or like, yeah, we've just never had anybody physically try to break in. But that's my worst. That is like my worst nightmare. So I'm really picky about like if we're gonna watch a documentary or watch like movies, like I try to stay clear of ones with breaking and entering and stuff because I won't sleep.
Hmm.
And that's what this one was. It wasn't too bad. It was without. I don't want to give anything away in case anybody is like, "Ooh, this was on my list," or maybe I'll go watch it. Basically, it was breaking and entering. A guy and a girl, they're in a relationship, and they took the girl and kidnapped her and everything.
Oh no.
And like even in the trailer, you'll see it if you ever decide to watch the trailer. They reference like Gone Girl, which I just watched last month. Which have you ever seen Gone
Oh,
Girl?
I've seen Gone Girl, yeah. Yeah, that wild movie.
Wild movie. So then when they were like, "This is the case of the Gone Girl," and I was like, "Wait, did she say?" So it really intrigued me because I was like, "How is this actually going to end?" And I will not tell you guys what actually happened.
Mm.
Only things that you can see in the trailer. Um, but so we watched that one, which was whatever I just said it was. Back up 15 seconds if you don't remember, because neither do I. Did that one, and then we were kind of on this like documentary kick. So we watched The Way Down, which is about a church in like central Tennessee. like Middle Tennessee, where this lady who is like the like over the church like had was just like, God told me that to get closer to him or how to be skinnier, and the skinnier you are, like the closer to God you are. And like I have unlocked the way to skinny lifestyle and how to lose all this weight. And there's like people who would come up and be like, I lost 80 pounds, and like how
Oh
this
no.
like went over and stuff, and like the years of this and like what ended up happening in the end. And that one was also
The
crazy. It
way
was a little
down.
it's called The Way Down, and apparently a lot of people knew about it. Like I again, the podcast that I listened to, she was the reason that I was kind of interested in it because she was talking about it, and she was like, I remember when my mom did this, and so like a lot of people remember this as a thing. Like this was like worldwide that churches integrated her like teachings and what she believed into their church.
To just like, you know,
Wild.
enforce a patriarchal beauty standard upon their not to get, we don't need to get into that,
Sort
but
of, sort of. In a way,
that's
it was very like like
that's
they
horrifying.
uh do a lot of like comparisons between like a cult too, and like how she like lived or how she preached her teachings, and it was very cultish. It was really, really interesting. It's like 4 or 5 episodes. It's on HBO. Yeah, wild. Took me and my husband on a journey. Like
Oh, I'm gonna
it
watch
was
that.
crazy. Yeah, you should. And then let me know what you think.
So
Like there was a few points where I cried too. I was like, this is crazy. Like absolutely crazy.
I do love watching documentaries. I do watch a lot of true crime ones. I actually think the first one you talked about, the American Nightmare, I might ask you after we're done filming because I think it's one that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually watched a documentary too in our
Really?
time off. Very different than yours.
Well, tell me, because
It
like I
was
said, we've been on a kick.
it was called American Sweetheart, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders one.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I've heard it's really good too.
I feel so bad for all of those women because they're all
Mm-hmm.
super smart, successful people living in Dallas, and they're getting like slave wages to basically make Jerry Jones millions and millions of dollars, and they're paying them like I think I saw like a TikTok that like did the math, and it was like 20,000 a year for basically a second full time job for one of the largest like sports franchises. And they are like they'll talk about like how, oh, these are so important to like the Dallas Cowboys brand, but we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
pay them anything, but they're so
They're
important as
idolized.
prestige. Yeah, but
Like,
like
and like I know people who are like who have watched it, or like they're like, I want to do that. And I'm like, do you really? Or like
no.
people who are like, I idolize the cheerleaders. I like the sports team. So it's like, yeah, but at what cost? You know, like
And like and there were all sorts of these just these like horrifying scenes of like I was horrified even though the way that it's framed is very like, oh, this is this great cool thing. I'm
mm-hmm.
watching like they have this scene where they like are giving a tour of the stadium, like the Dallas Cowboys like stadium, and they go into
Uh-huh.
the locker room and they have pictures of the girls above all the lockers, and they tell all these like 60, 70-year-old men like, oh, go stand in front of your favorite and like do the same pose. And I'm like, no, like
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
it was just icky. I just got I was it was icky. I felt terrible watching it. But I'm the type of person that once I start a show, I can't stop. So
I go back and forth about that. I always am like, if I don't like it, I don't have to finish it. I'll just call it quits.
no,
But
I could probably count on my hand the number of shows and movies that I didn't finish. I have to
speaking of
finish.
things I finished, oh my god,
There we go.
we finished Lord of the Rings, by the way.
What do you think?
Um, okay, so I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I knew that I would like it. It was just a matter of time before I sat down and took the time to like actually watch it, and we finished it so quick.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it was in one sitting. Like even if it was 3 hours, like we were finishing it, or we would like start it, come upstairs, hang out, play some games, do whatever, and then end up going back to it. Um, Finished it. I did. I loved it. Like 10 out of 10. Thought it was great. We have plans now that we really want to go and watch The Hobbit. and see how like that like stacks up and just like continue the now love of Lord of the Rings. Like literally we
Wow.
finished that night and I ended up getting in bed and looking at like TikToks of like just like random interviews and behind the scenes and
Oh, that's awesome.
just anything I could find because I was very like intrigued and interested about like all of them except for especially the main character, one of the main
Frodo?
characters, the guy. No,
Sam?
no, the older one
Ar-
with the sword. Aragon.
Aragorn?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I loved him.
Yeah, he's great.
Except for that he has the love of his life. And then he flirts with every girl he meets. And Daniel was like, "Leave him alone." I was like, "No, he knows what he knows what he's doing. He's a pretty boy." Um and so
He's
then it
trying
was
to get what he
really
wants, you know?
yeah, and that was interesting looking him up after, because I mean, these movies were filmed quite some time ago, and seeing how much older he is now, especially because I mean,
25
when
years older.
yeah, he's 25 years older, and then back then he was like 30, or so, or mid-30s, I would assume, and it's like wild to see him now because I was like, "Oh, you're kinda old, like, you're still adorable, but you're kinda old," so it's just got through all of them, loved all of them. I think watching them back to back like that, and not having a lot of breaks of it did kinda deter me towards the end, because if you guys haven't seen these, okay, at this point, uh, I cannot be responsible for any spoilers after this sentence, okay? It's not my problem.
The
If you don't
movies
wanna
are
know,
20 years old.
yeah, we're way
We're
past this. But at the end, when they're standing on the cliff and Sam is like, Frodo, throw it. And Frodo's like, I don't know. And then here comes Gollum, and Gollum's like, let me have it. And they're all fighting. At this point, I was like, oh my God, somebody just fucking push him. Like, I don't care who dies at this point. Just please be done with this. I just want it
and then it goes
gone.
on for another hour.
Yeah, and so Daniel was like, he was like, I think that was just you feeling kind of like burnt out from probably watching him back to back to back at 3 hours at a time.
For sure.
He's like, I wonder how you would have felt if it wasn't like that. But I was happy with the way it ended. Like, I think they did a pretty good job of like not being too perfect. Everybody didn't live, and they didn't like kind of go happily ever after, but like in a good sense of like some characters who needed to go went, and for the most part everybody lived on in a nice little pretty world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Well,
was
and
it was
I
very,
think
very good.
part of the point of the ending is like just because you save your home doesn't mean that like your growth and experience and frankly trauma through what they went through like all like I think that's why Frodo leaves is because he came back from this experience and was like, "Oh, I it's not for me." Like I think he has a line that says, "I saved the Shire, but I didn't save it for me." And
Uh-huh, yeah. Dangle had pointed something else too that I don't know if he saw behind the scenes or if he picked up, that Frodo at some point in the movies stops smiling, and the first time that he smiles again is when he gets on the boat. And so like
yeah,
to he needed to really like do something for himself again.
yeah,
Um but yeah, so yeah, overall, thought it was great. Loved it. We also talked about maybe in the years coming watching it again, but not watching the extended version, doing like they have like a more like theatrical version and
yeah. They
seeing
have
kind of how did
short
they
ones.
stack up against each other. Cause like after we watched it, we got online, did some research, and like some people were saying that they preferred one or over the other. So I also thought that was kind of interesting to see like, do we end up liking one over the other and it being better or not?
Oh, I'm firmly in the camp of the extended editions.
So
Firmly
yeah.
in the camp.
um, but yeah, so I think any other content or what did we call it last time? Was it
Mm,
content that
consuming.
you're taking in? Yeah, consuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my life has been very busy. Summer theater has been uh, consuming my life a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been doing a whole lot of gaming besides like showing up to Discord for like 15 minutes, being like, okay, I need to wind down. I need my brain
I
to shut
need
off so I can go to
something.
bed.
Yeah,
And I
I
need to
don't
listen
blame you.
to y'all scream about party animals and then go to bed.
There was somebody the other day who messaged me and they're like, every time that you mention party animals, it's making me think that I should play. And I'm like, as you should. Today, uh, they just dropped like their Summerfest stuff, and I'm super excited. I'll be playing later to try to get new characters.
Happy
But
for you.
I have also been, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Um, I have also been replaying Cult of the Lamb because I started it when it first came out. I actually never finished it. So I was like, I've been wanting to play something new. I haven't been playing Fortnite. We've only really been playing Party Animals. I need something else to play. And I was looking through things that I already had. I was like, maybe I'll go back and replay that. I bought all the DLC stuff. It was like $15 for like all of it. And I'm almost done with it. So I'm in the process of finishing out my second
Yeah.
Cult of the Lamb
And
run.
and what's your naming convention, Lizzie?
Hmm?
What's your
What?
naming convention?
Which mean? My cult name is
Well, like you have followers. How, like who are you naming them after?
Oh, dude, they're all over the place. I have so many
But your
of
first
my.
follower, who what'd you name your first follower?
Okay, my first follow is Hiplop. Okay,
And then
and
and then what'd you do
okay,
to
he's
them?
gonna turn this around on me, just so you guys know. Okay,
What'd you
so
do to them?
when your followers die, you can bury them. I did not realize that when it said harvest,
Oh yeah. What else would
that
harvest the dead body mean?
I thought that that meant I would just pick the necklace up off of you that I gave you and could give it to somebody else. Not that I was gonna chop you up in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So I may or may not have harvest Hiplop's body. Um so that
Jeez.
was awkward and not a lot of people were happy about it.
Myself
Um
included.
Yeah, true. Hip Hop came into a Discord call one night, and everybody in there was very quick to be like, "Lizzie harvested you for your organs, Hip Hop," and I was like, "Thank you for outing me, guys.
You know what,
Appreciate you."
Lizzie? If you were to pass, I would make sure that there was something to remember you by, not just
Proper
harvest
burial.
you. Yeah, I'd give you a Viking burial. Push you out on a boat.
That is how I want to go. Actually, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
So yeah, all of
hard to do
my
in the Midwest,
followers.
but
Yeah, yeah. um, all of my followers have been all of my friends, so that makes it a little weird when all of a sudden like you're on a run and it's like Hiplop died of old age. I'm like, oh my god, they died. But my cult name is also the Discord Kitten, so congratulations, you've been part of the Discord Kitten. You've been one.
that's uh, that's
I know that's
debatable.
on your 2024 bingo card.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
I am also, I think I gotta buy it today because I think it's about to stop being on sale. As I never played the Untitled Goose Game. It
Oh yeah,
looked
I have.
silly
It's
and
great.
fun. Is it? Yeah? Okay.
I played it with Jess. It
Um,
was a lot of fun. And
oh,
if
can
you
you
like
co-op
the
it?
yeah, it can be two-player games. You have two little geese running
Really?
around. Yeah, and like
Shut up. Oh, that's fun.
if you like the sort of like goofy ragdoll physics of party animals, there's a little bit
Mm.
of that in that engine. It's a lot of
Oh,
fun.
yeah, it was on sale, so I might
Do it.
grab that
Play it.
and start that because I've kind of been on a gaming limbo where I'm like, I'm gonna finish Cult of the Lamb, and then
Mhm.
I don't know where I'm gonna go from there. So we'll see. We will
I've got
see.
some RPGs lined up because I when I finished Elden Ring, I started playing Demon Souls again,
Mm-hmm.
and I've also restarted Elden Ring on New Game Plus. But really want to play Sea of Stars, but
Uh-huh.
I need like 4 or 5 hours where I can just shut my brain off from all of my other work, and I won't have that until August.
Mm.
So until then, I'm kind of just playing things that I don't need to think or read or like exert any brain power
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
And
like Cult of the Lamb. Again, Hiplop comes into our Discord call the other day and sees like there's me and one of our friends in there also playing Cult of the Lamb. And he's like, maybe I'll play Cult of the Lamb. And then he's like, I'll buy the DLCs, buy the DLCs. And we have not seen him play yet.
okay,
I was
one, Discord won't let me stream, which I don't get because I have an expensive computer that I bought for streaming and I can't share my fucking
It
screen in
is very
Discord.
frustrating.
And two, I don't remember anything Call to the Lamb. I have to actually engage with the game enough to remember the systems. Whereas like Elden
Mhm.
Ring, I'm like, I have the big stick, it goes bonk, and I remember
People
how to do
die.
that. People
Yeah, yeah,
die.
yeah.
And so it's just it's different. It's different. So
I don't blame you.
I will play Call to the Lamb at some point once the hype is done. Um, but until then, but I actually have been watching to tie into our news stories. My news story for the week was Severance season 2 has been announced and it's coming out in January.
Give me
And
the recap of Severance because I've never seen it without spoiling anything. Remind me which one this is because I think I know what it
okay,
is,
it's
but
it's
remind me.
it's Adam Scott as
Hmm.
the lead actor and directed by Ben Stiller. It also has
Oh.
to tie into maybe a future news story. It has Zach Cherry, who's also in Fallout,
Mm.
is one of the main characters in it. And basically, it's set in this sort of like world where this like medical science company develops a chip that you can put into your brain, and when you show up to work or any sort of like a specific location, the chip will activate and you will have no recollection or memory or knowledge of the outside world and vice versa. So like you go to your work day and clock in at 9 a.m., get into the elevator, and when you descend in the elevator, your brain flips and it's now your inside personality. And
Hmm.
then the next moment you remember is leaving work at 5 p.m.
If you
And
had the opportunity to do that, would you do it, or do you think it would like
no,
kind of no?
no, I wouldn't.
I yeah, I don't know if I would. I think it would make life a little not mundane, but sometimes I go, "Oh, I would love to not have a job. It'd be great not to have a job." But then like I'll have like a random like Monday off and I'm like, "What am I supposed to do with myself?" Like and then I end up getting a headache because I sit in front of my computer for 8 hours. I'm
Mhm.
like, I couldn't do this. So I don't think I could handle it.
Yeah, and I also just like I feel like a lot of people on the show at least do it because of they're trying to shut away trauma,
Mhm.
and be able to shut off for 8 hours. And I just don't think that's a healthy way to handle things.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it might be my favorite TV show because I watched
Yeah?
it. So after season 2 got announced, I did my fourth rewatch of the show. And when I finished my fourth rewatch of the show, I immediately started rewatch number 5. And I've already, so since we last talked, it
Mhm.
got announced maybe 2 weeks ago, and I've rewatched the entire show twice since then. So
It's that good. Maybe
I've
I'll
watched
put
it
that
5 times.
on
It's
top of
9 episodes.
documentaries.
It's 9 episodes, an hour each.
Oh, wow.
Um, give it 4 episodes before you pass your judgment. But it's so good and has such great attention to detail.
We on top of like finding documentaries, we've been talking about trying to find a new show.
Mhm.
So do you know when season two actually comes out?
Uh, January 2025. So like
Oh,
towards the end
ooh.
of January.
Okay, okay.
So
Because maybe we'll put that on our bucket of shows that maybe we'll pick up. We don't have any shows that we're watching right now, so
yeah.
but much like you just said, we are going to go through a few news stories. I have a few that I want to talk about just as like a if you guys aren't like in media news, I have some that I thought were kind of interesting that we could sit and chat about. But on top of that one, like you said, about Fallout, that was one of them that I brought to the table today was that Fallout got nominated for 16 Emmy Awards, which already 16 is a crazy number to
That's a
me.
lot.
Yeah, I don't watch like the Emmys. Like I'll normally like I'll catch up like after they're done,
Mhm.
and like just kind of like see like oh who won what, whatever, whatever. But I am also super happy for Walter Goggins who played was it Ghoul? Is that technically his name?
The
And
Ghoul. No,
yeah, Fallout.
he has an actual name.
You watched it though, right? Before I
Yeah, I
start
did.
talking about it. Okay.
I did. It was
Um,
quite good.
it was so good. We really, really enjoyed it. And Walter Goggins plays the kind of like undead character, Ghoul, whatever his name is in there. And I've seen him, and a lot of people have probably seen him in a few things. He is a phenomenal actor.
Mhm.
And I think his character in Fallout and getting nominated for Best Actor for that role, is, like, on par. Like, I think he did a great job. He seemed to have given it his all, and I hope it will bode well for him.
I hope so. I mean, candidly, I wasn't wowed by the acting by anyone in the Fallout show.
Mhm.
But his character was certainly fun.
Yeah.
It just didn't, like, I feel like when I think of sort of best actor, I think of like Elizabeth Moss in Handmaid's Tale, and like I thought all three people who played Elizabeth in The Crown were just
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Yep.
I think of some of the great acting performances in Game of Thrones, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm. I
I
guess it
don't.
also you're getting the 2 sides of, like, somebody who, like, consumes media as an like, entertainment purposes versus someone who physically is part of that side of, like, how do you do these things? How do you portray these roles? So you're kinda getting this two-sided thing right now.
Yeah, I have a liberal arts education, so I can't enjoy anything.
Mhm, mhm.
I can tear holes in everything, and it's terrible.
That's that's how
Uh,
I feel about, I took a lot of video production classes in high
yeah.
school, and I will never forget the day that my teacher looked at us and he goes, "I'm about to ruin movies for you guys, okay? You'll never see them as the same again." And here I am, years removed from high school, and it has lived in my brain that and now that I'm older and I've done editing, it also makes sense, but this is the first time that I went, "Oh, wow. That video and
Mhm.
audio in movies are basically
Separate.
smushed together, which is why they have that thing that goes and it's made so they can line it up
Yep.
and that your voice also goes over. So now I watch movies and I sit there and I'm going, "Oh my god, this feels like a fraud." And if the sound like especially when we're at home, if the
Oh, yeah.
sound is even a millisecond off, I pick it
Oh,
up
it's
and it will
off. Yeah, it's
drive
terrible.
me insane the entire rest of the movie. It's all I can think of. That's all I can pay attention to.
Well, and I find like Amazon Prime is really bad for that. Like half the time
Mhm.
I watch Amazon Prime, like actually half the time I was watching the Fallout show, yeah, the syncing on the
So
audio
bad.
was off, and I didn't know if it was an internet connection thing, so I like tried other devices, and yeah, it was terrible.
Our, soundbar, you can, like, change it, so then it gets
Mm,
really tricky when you change it for, like, Amazon, and then you go back to Netflix, and all of a sudden now Netflix is off because you changed it for this, and,
right.
oh, it drives my husband insane because I won't deal with it. I'll just be like, "No, we have to fix it." So then 30 minutes later, he's like, "It's fine," and I'm like, "But
It's
it's
not.
not."
It
So
is not.
I did enjoy Fallout, thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a good
Um
show, and I liked the game. I thought it was really faithful to the game, and when the ghoul's wife says war, and then she like takes like probably the longest pause of any like dramatic pause in the history of television, and I was
Mhm.
just screaming at the screen. I was like, war never changes, war never changes. And then my wife was like, is that a famous line from Fallout? I was like, yes. And then she said, war never changes, and I was like, yeah. So
I
I appreciated it just for that.
I haven't seen a lot of the game. I think I've only ever watched my husband Daniel play New Vegas, I think.
Mm,
So I would love to like sit. I don't think it's a game that I would personally want to play, but I would sit down and watch like somebody else play.
sure.
Um but on top of other amazing shows and movies, did you ever watch Inside Out, the first one?
Yes, I did.
I loved it. I think it is the perfect prime example of a movie that was made for kids, but actually for adults.
Oh, I don't think that movie's made for kids. I was like, this is so sad. But I guess
Mhm.
I guess
Yeah.
kids wouldn't pick up some of the like thematic sort of like through lines around depression
Mhm.
and um sort of those inner battles probably. Well, hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully their life hasn't gotten that fucked up yet. So,
Uh,
yeah.
but Inside Out 2 just came out recently,
Did you
and
watch it?
I haven't. So I really do not like and this has happened in the past, like past few years of my life where I really don't like movie theaters anymore.
Mm.
It really, really grossed me out. I think the entire idea of movie theaters just disgusts me. So I really don't like going to movie theaters unless it was like Marvel. If it was something that I was really, really interested in, I didn't want it to get spoiled, we would go. But otherwise, I just wait for it to be at my house, which is probably what will happen with this one, because I loved the first one and I'm very interested in seeing the second one. And so far, it has only gotten rave, great positive things to have been said about it. Uh,
Yeah, I don't go out of my way to watch a lot of animated movies, but I probably
mhm.
should. Though Inside Out made me so sad. I don't know if I could sit through an Inside Out too. I don't know if I could
Especially
do it.
this is it's about to get a lot messier. Like they introduce like a lot of
Anxiety
new,
and
yeah, anxiety and a lot of new emotions this time around. So I've just heard like parents who have brought their kids and the parents being like, no, I loved this. Or like older teenagers being like, I understood this. Like this kind of spoke to me. Like kids like
mhm,
it because it's like cute and it's animated and stuff like that, but they're they're not getting it on the same level as like those of us who kind of have a better grasp on their emotions. But it has been the
debatable.
highest, yeah. It has been the highest grossing movie in 2024 so far,
Oh wow,
which I think is incredible. I think it's out, if I'm not mistaken, it outdid Dune Part 2.
really?
Mhm.
Wow,
Um, there was a bunch of statistics that I had been looking at, but I wish I had all of them. Yeah, it's like the third highest earning animated movie of all time, um, highest grossing Pixar movie of all time globally.
wow,
Yeah, it's just like it's been knocking out all kinds of stuff. And I was reading that like it's also just it potentially has not peaked yet because
mm,
not everybody in the world has access to it yet.
sure,
So
sure.
like once it actually goes global, we could see it kind of kick off a few other highest grossing movies
Yeah.
later on. So,
Have you ever watched Grace Rudolph or Grace Randolph or
mm-mm.
Beyond the Trailer? She's a YouTube channel, and a lot of what she covers is sort of the like business and money side of the film industry. And she
Huh,
every Monday she has like the box office tracking. It's called Movie Math, and she talks about like how much a movie debuts at, and then like what the difference is week over week, and how they're plummeting. And she does like a lot of, and she's been following it for years, and she
that's
has a
really
lot of
cool,
really
actually.
cool analysis. Yeah, you should check her out sometime. I'll
Um,
send you her stuff later.
yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Anything movie related. I'm a big fan of behind the scenes stuff too.
Mm.
But the last one that I kind of want to touch on real quick was that Pokimane streamer, if you didn't know,
Yeah.
I guess had a charity event, and one of the incentives was to donate to be able to play video games with her, and it ended up being the top, like the biggest purse or the person that donated the most. It was $30,200, which is
Who bought it?
why you know what? I need to look that up. I meant to before we started and I forgot because I was like, is this a friend, kind of thing?
Well, because like remember, I think was it Ludwig bought like an hour of gaming with Shroud for like
Mhm.
$50,000 or something like that, and I
I'll
was like,
have to
holy shit.
look and see if I can't find it. But yeah, I thought that was an insane amount of money to go play a video game with anybody. Like, yeah, if it was one of her friends, I get it. You probably have that kind of expense to just be like, here. But if it's just a random person, I would be a little on edge if I was Pokey to be like, yeah, I guess they probably aren't gonna be in the same room
Yeah.
necessarily. But I would be like, is are you okay? You got
I,
how much money do you actually have?
I do wonder if it's like a content creator who is doing a cost benefit analysis of like if they
That's
have
true.
one of the biggest gaming creators in the world partner up with them for a video, they
It
could
has
really
potential.
catapult their career, right?
Yeah. If
Um,
you could if you could if you had unlimited expandable expenses, who and you were like, "Okay, I could pay to play a game with somebody." Is there anybody that you'd play a game with?
Oh
I don't
no.
watch as much Twitch anymore. I can tell you mine while you think about it.
Yeah, you
Um,
told me.
Because I think it still remains the same
Oh
that
yeah.
I am such a Summit fan.
Yeah.
I love that man. I love watching him, and I don't watch a lot of Twitch, and I in most of the time I'm not watching big creators anymore. I just tend to stay in my little pool of like friends that I've made. But like if there's nobody around and I'm like, oh, I want to be able to kind of also like zone out and hang. I
Mhm.
am in there. I've been subbed for like 2 or 3 years now kind of thing, I think. And so that would be the person, and if I had to pick a game, it's kind of funny, I was thinking about this earlier because I was like, I'll ask Alex what he thinks. I was like, I would have to pick something like Uno or like It Takes Two. Like something where I don't have to actually be good at games because I think I would be so nervous the whole time that there's
Right.
no way I'm already not great at a first person shooter game. So the hell if I'm going to put myself in that position with somebody that is like
Their job.
how they got on, the board of sorts.
Yeah. See, like I also don't watch a lot of big creators. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, it would have been Sandwich of like
Oh
people that like
yeah. Uh-huh.
and then if you'd asked me 4 years ago, it would have been Dragon Feeney. But I feel like yeah,
But
now I
that
feel like
enough could be an answer in itself, honestly.
yeah, now maybe like Ludwig or someone just like it'd
Mhm.
be
I'm
I
also
feel like he and I have had a lot of personality things that we would probably talk about. It would probably be
mhm.
enjoyable enough. Like he seems like a cool enough dude. But I feel like the people that I would want to play games with, I'm good enough friends with that I could just reach out and be like, yo
You
Lizzie,
want a
let's
game?
play, let's game, let's play
I
Four Swords.
also I also yeah, yeah. Uh Ray, Valkyrie would be another one because
Yeah,
it's funny that I don't watch her a lot, but I just adore her as a person and just how she conducts herself and just be a woman in gaming because it is like, especially like on Twitch or YouTube, it's a little weird sometimes. So
yeah,
I admire her a lot as far as like everything she's done.
for
Um,
sure. I
but while
just
I'm picking, oh, continue.
I would feel weird. I would feel uncomfortable just like being like, "Hi, I've purchased
I
this
bought
friendship hour."
this. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
I don't
That
know.
is weird.
I'd rather just game with my friend,
Uh-huh,
than
uh-huh.
like someone I
Don't
yeah,
really know. Yeah, it's an awkward thing, but I was thinking about it and I was like, "If I had to pick somebody, it would probably Summit first just because I
yeah.
really, really enjoy his stuff. I think
Well, and
he's
like I was watching so Mr. Beast put out that video of like him where he put the 50 big YouTubers into a
Mhm.
box and they competed for $1 million for their fans.
Yeah.
Um the thing that really stuck out to me from that video was on the back of their shirts, he had their sub count. Didn't have their name, had their sub
Interesting.
count.
That's so
And I was like,
weird.
that feels so icky to me. Of just like that's how he views them, and that's like there was a moment where he's like, whoever has the highest sub count, you have to start, and the amount of value that they put on those statistics, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I quit because I my brain doesn't want to work like that, and I don't want to interact with people that see me as a sub count or as a like a
That's
follower count.
wild. I only watched like pieces of it to be honest. Like I
Oh, I
started
watched it
it, I
all.
kind of skipped through it. I didn't sit for the whole thing. But I it's not something that I caught on to and definitely did not know that that's what the numbers were on the back. That is kind of wild. Yeah, that
I
makes
don't know,
me feel kind of weird.
it's just a different mentality, right? Like a lot of these
Mhm.
people, their worth financially is tied to that, and I could see
Mhm.
certain people, not probably not everyone. Like I can't imagine Kai Senat gives a fuck about that, but certain people sort of just tie their own value and worth to like a sub
Yeah.
count and a follower count, and that's just like this is not
And it
me.
was not to I'm not gonna go down this whole road, but like as somebody who did like stream for a short amount of time, it is so easy to get tied up in that.
Yeah.
So very easy to just be like compare yourself of like how many subs do I have? How many viewers do I have? How many this? How many chatters is my chat? So
Mhm.
like even at a high level, I wonder if those people still have the same thing. Like, especially to be walking around a room with 50 other streamers, if you know what your number is on your back, to be looking around and being like, that one, you're lower, you're higher, kind of thing. It must be kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
so Lizzie, what's our trivia question?
I just pulled it out of the box while we were chatting. So if you haven't listened to, I think we did this on the first one, and then since then we've been playing
Other
other
games.
types of games. I got this cool little box of video game trivia off of Amazon. It has 2 questions on them. I'm holding it kind of like against my phone, so I can't see the answer because they're not on the back; they're on the front. So it's like kind of hard to
Mhm.
like not see it. But first one is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege started development after the cancellation of which video game?
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I feel like I'm gonna read it and be like, "Oh, I remember this,"
SOCOM?
but oh, I guess it must have been another one of them because it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Patriots. So it must have been like
Oh,
one of
okay.
their own games got
I thought
and
they
they
meant
picked
like the
something up.
Tom Clancy series started because
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Oh, we'll know this one, I bet. What is the name of the airline in Animal Crossing New Horizon? Isn't it the
Dodo Airlines.
yeah, is it just Dodo Airlines?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dodo Airlines. I was really
yeah,
excited when I saw Animal Crossing. I was like, "I'll actually know I might know this one."
yeah,
My good old, my COVID game. That's when I played, was in the middle of COVID. It was my
yeah.
COVID comfort game. Um,
Isn't it for all
but
of
yeah.
us?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
that
right.
and Genshin was my go-to. But guys, like I said last time, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um it has been incredible and I appreciate you guys. And don't forget you guys can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, yeah, all 3 of those. You can also find us. We are on social media everywhere for the most part. You can find us on Instagram as the Still Loading Pod. It is weird because there's 3 L's in there. So if you go still with 2 L's and then loading, check your spelling. Still loading.
It's not
Still Loading
still
Pod.
loading.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No.
Or still wrong because you could have 1 L. Yeah, never mind. And then YouTube, TikTok, we post shorts on everything. So yeah, check us out, come find us, say hi, especially because when I look at analytics and I see there's people from like Mexico and Argentina, and we have like 8 people in Germany who listen to us. I would love
Guten Tag,
for a
my German
follow,
fans.
yeah, on Instagram, so I just can like see the statistics, see the analytics, see a name. It would be
Hey,
great.
I'll be in Germany. I'll be in Germany in September. So
And there you go. So you never know. But
you never
just
know.
a solid thank you. Enjoy because this goes out on a Sunday and most people are probably gonna listen on a Monday. Enjoy your Monday, guys. And
Happy Monday.
yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.
Bye.